Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Classic Comics. Today I'm reviewing X Factor #1. This issue is written by Leah Williams with art by David Baldion. So we start off with North Star, and he senses that his sister is dead. So he goes to the Five, and these are the mutants who are responsible for resurrecting mutants. And he demands that, of course, that they bring her back, but they say, look, we can't resurrect anyone without proof that they're dead. Your feeling that she's dead isn't enough. We got to have some proof. We got to have a body or something, because we can't create people and then they turn out to be alive later, and now there's a duplicate, like a clone of them running around. And of course he doesn't like that, but he starts trying to figure out where she went and where she was, and he winds up joining up with Polaris, who suggests that they form an investigative team and go search for it. And yeah, they still have these white space pages that just are a waste of time. And then Dakin, or whatever this guy's name is, Dakin, however you say it, he wants to join up, but they don't want him along, so they tell him buzz off. Then they get Prodigy, and then they get Rachel Summers to come along. And then they're one of these gates. They find out that she went to Vancouver. And so they're going to go through this gate to Vancouver. And then Dakin shows up anyway, even though he's not particularly wanted. And then this guy here, I-Boy, they call him. I don't really know this character, but he shows up too. And so we've got Dakin, right? And we've got North Star, Polaris, Rachel Summers, I-Boy, and Prodigy. So we got 6 characters, right? And out of these characters, Dakin is bi, North Star is gay, Prodigy is bi too, I think. So you've got 6 characters, 50% of them are, non-hetero, basically. Meanwhile, they make up what? Maybe 5% of the population at the most. Sure, okay. Now, man, there's just so much dialogue in here that is just, there's lots of dialogue, lots of exposition. I mean, and it really just drags. I mean, you see all this here, and it's just some of this doesn't even pertain to the story. It's like, why is it even here? So they go to this hotel in Vancouver, and they're checking out her hotel room. And while they're doing that, Dakin goes out to talk to the clerk up front, who turns out, surprise, surprise, he's gay too. And of course he's like totes crushing on Dakin. OMG. So, Dakin flirts with him to get some information. And then, Rachel, and so they're searching a room and they aren't really finding any clues that can really help. And then Rachel's like, well, why don't I just use my chrono vision ability, to look into the past. And I'm thinking, couldn't you have led with that? Couldn't you have just done that in the beginning? But anyway, they don't really learn much of anything from that. And then Rachel has this, this baby warhound, this warhound puppy along with her, for whatever reason. And so they're going to use the warhound puppy to track her. And then, Jesus. And so, yeah. So Dakin and the clerk are like, just kind of getting very friendly. And so he tells Dakin that, Aurora had been meeting with this guy, Dakin. Did I say Dakin? I didn't mean Dakin, I meant Dakin. I think that's how you say it, Dakin. So that Aurora had been meeting with this guy, and I guess they had maybe had a thing going on. But anyway, then they have the Warhound puppy tracker, and that leads her to this bridge, and basically her vehicle slid out of control, went off the bridge, and went into the river and Aurora went with it because apparently she forgot that, she's a mutant and she can fly, so she didn't try to fly out of the vehicle while it was crashing. And anyway, they bring it up, and Northstar takes the body back to Krakoa and demands they resurrect her. And they say, well, we have to report, if she was murdered, we have to report this to the council, the quiet council that runs the Krakoa, basically, that governs the nation of Krakoa. And so Polaris is like, I'll call my dad and tell him that we're coming. And I'm thinking, that just seemed off to me because, yes, Polaris is Magneto's daughter, but it's not like they've ever had this really warm mother-daughter relationship. She didn't even know he was her father for a long time. So, they've never really had this kind of warm relationship where I would see her calling Magneto my dad. I think she should probably be calling him, my father, something a little more formal. But anyway, she calls him. And why do you use a phone? You've got Rachel right here. Rachel's a telepath. Why not just have her telepathically contact Professor Xavier or Jean Grey or Emma Frost or anybody, and do that? Why bother using a phone? Yeah, whatever. Whatever. Does it matter? Does it really matter? So anyway, they meet with the council, and then they present all this evidence that basically the vehicle she was driving when she went off the bridge was tampered with, the brake lines were cut, and basically she was probably set up to be killed by this guy she was meeting with, but he was killed in the accident too, so they can't really question him, which kind of leaves them at a dead end. And then Polaris suggests, Krakoa needs an investigative body, an investigative team to deal with these sort of matters. And she nominates Northstar to be the leader. And, well, it's called X Factor number 1. So you can probably figure out, what decision they make. They say, okay, fine. And then Polaris, and this is just kind of out of nowhere, Polaris uses her powers to create this structure to be their headquarters, I guess. And, and it kind of ends there. And overall, it's just really kind of dull. The dialogue is really just kind of the standard fare you get from Marvel these days. And it doesn't help because there is lots of it. But, it's just kind of a mix of kind of snarky comments that aren't really funny, quips that aren't really funny, and then a lot of exposition that is just really dull. This issue's very exposition heavy. Very exposition heavy. And, and they sound like, just like temperamental, angsty teens, not adults who have been through numerous life and death situations. And another thing is this issue really highlights the problem with being able to just resurrect people on demand. Because, yes, Aurora is dead, but they're just going to bring her back. So, would we like to know who killed her and why? Yes, but, she'll be back anyway, and so it won't really make that much of a difference. And besides, can't they just ask her when she's resurrected anyway? And I also have to kind of cry BS on the circumstances behind Aurora's death. Apparently she made contact with this guy who apparently was a human, and he was like an anti-mutant person, apparently. And he lured her there, I guess seduced her and lured her there, and then set her up to be killed. But I just have to kind of cry BS on that, because, you know, it's been pretty well established in the past that Aurora is really, she's hot. I mean, she's really attractive, really gorgeous. So I just don't buy her, you know, I mean, if Aurora wanted some action, she could just get it on Krakoa from any number of guys. You know, a woman as attractive as her doesn't need to go through to all this trouble to find a date, you know, or to find some sex. She can get it right there where she's at. So her running off to Vancouver to find this guy just seems a bit of a stretch to me. It just doesn't make sense. And as for the art, you know, I mean, it's serviceable, I guess. I mean, it's kind of like the writing. It's dull. Nothing really pops off the page. No action sequences that are exciting. Lots of flat angles. Lots of people chatting, you know, in a calm, slightly bored way. It's not awful, you know. I mean, the guy's good with expressions. You know, his figures are okay. They're fine. It's just nothing really exciting. So thumbs down on this one for me. You can skip it. Now, let me know what you think. Did you read this issue? And do you agree with my review? Please let me know in the comments. And also please like this video before you leave. And also please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications for more videos. And I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching.